January 17, 2022 would have marked the 100-year birthday of actress and media personality Betty White. The actress, who is affectionately known as America's grandmother, passed away last month on December 31st, only 2.5 weeks away from her landmark birthday. As we mourn her passing, we want to tell you that Betty White wasn't only a star on movie and TV screens, but she also lived a love story worth telling. While best known for her roles in The Golden Girls and Hot in Cleveland, White appeared in more than 120 different productions over her life. One of her earlier appearances was on the game show Password in 1961. She appeared in the 3rd episode of the show's first season, but while her bright smile charmed the hearts of thousands of Americans that night, the most important impression she made was on the show host's Allen Ludden. From that day onward, Ludden would love Betty White until his dying breath. Join Facts First as we go through the history of White and Ludden's iconic marriage. Allen Ludden was born in 1917 and served during World War II before beginning his media career with CBS Radio. His first game show was GE College Bowl, which he hosted from 1959 to 62. His main claim to fame was the next game show, Password, which was on the air between 1961 and 67. In each episode, 2 celebrities would compete to guess the titular password through one-word clues. He went on to host multiple versions of Password and other shows, release books and a musical album, win an Emmy Award for Outstanding Host or Hostess in the Game or Audience Participation Show category, and be awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Ludden and Betty White first met on the set of Password when she was a guest on its first season in 1961. While the full episode is not available on any streaming services, a documentary series, Betty White, the First Lady of Television, shows a bit of Ludden and White's interactions during that first taping. Their chemistry shines as White laughs and smiles at Ludden's jokes, and he flirts with her, asking playfully what she was planning to do for the summer. By the time White appeared on Ludden's show, he had already been married. His first wife was Margaret McGloin, whom he married while in the Army in 1943. The couple had 3 children, Sarah, Martha, and David. They were married for nearly 20 years until McGloin died from cancer in 1961. Soon after their meeting, Ludden began pursuing Betty White. He proposed to her multiple times, reportedly more than twice, before she said yes a year later. White explained her initial hesitation with a few reasons. First, she was already in a relationship at the time. Second, she didn't want to move to New York to live with Ludden, as the city was where he hosted his show. And third, White had already been married twice before, and both of those marriages were not particularly happy or successful. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to Facts First for more. And stick around for more about Betty White. Betty White's first marriage was to an Army pilot named Dick Barker, whom she married and divorced in the same year, when she realized she didn't want to live on a farm and allegedly ran to LA. She then stayed within her industry and married Hollywood agent Lane Allen in 1947, but their marriage also didn't last. They divorced in 1949 over a difference in priorities. Given that history, it's understandable why White didn't want to immediately accept Ludden's proposal, especially since he had just recently lost his first wife. And she might have worried about the sincerity of his intentions. In hindsight, the actress referred to her previous marriages as 2 mistakes and rehearsals. She seems to regret rejecting Ludden's initial proposal, saying she wasted a whole year that they could have spent together. In a 2012 CNN interview, White thought back to the moment she changed her mind, saying she wondered to herself, "Am I going to live the rest of my life without this man?" When White said yes in 1962, the couple quickly began performing together. That year, they played in a Critics' Choice performance for a summer stock theater and starred in a romantic comedy play, Janice. They were married in June of 1963 and taped an episode of Password together as a married couple that month. White considered Ludden the love of her life. She described falling in love with Ludden's contagious passion and curiosity, saying he was interested in everything. According to an interview with PBS, she thought he was very attractive from the first time she saw him on the set of Password. For White, Ludden was not only a loving husband and close friend, but he made up for the disappointment of her 2 previous marriages. While he was an Army veteran like her first husband, by the time they met, Ludden was already an entertainment industry professional, and so shared a lot in common with White. The actress never felt pressured to have biological children in her 3rd marriage. She never regretted choosing not to be a mother, telling CBS in 2012 that if she had ever gotten pregnant, she would have become compulsive about it, and motherhood would have been her whole focus. Because Ludden was already a single father to his 3 kids, he didn't pressure White to have any more, and was happy with her focus on professional success. Instead, White found fulfillment helping raise her stepchildren. As a stepmom, she got to have the best of both worlds, getting both a personal life and a career. While the 3 kids all led private lives, when they've spoken about their family life, they've only expressed positive feelings. On her side, White expressed love for all 3 of them. As for her professional life, White was as successful as she ever hoped to be. She and Ludden were both in the same industry, feeding into each other's success through their mutual work and appearances. White spent her life dedicated to her craft, and in the end, her long career spanned 82 years, bringing over 120 credits to her name. She was one of the main figures of classic Hollywood and continued delighting many generations of audiences from behind the screen until her death in 2021. She was the first American woman to produce a sitcom when working on Life with Elizabeth, and was sometimes called the First Lady of television. She even held the Guinness World Record title for longest TV career by an entertainer, female, in 2014 and 2018. In all ways, Ludden and White were perfect for each other and madly in love. But their bliss had an end date. In the late 70s, Ludden got diagnosed with stomach cancer. While he survived for a few more years, he died shortly after he and White completed building their home in 1981. He slept there 2 nights, White said in a 1999 interview. At the time of his death, he was 63. White remembered the agony of living in the empty house after her husband's passing. She recalled breaking down on the floor together with the family dogs. For the rest of her life, White was never interested in marrying again. She told CNN in 2011 that she had the love of her life. If you've had the best, who needs the rest? It seems the world agrees that these 2 were truly soulmates. Their relationship has been the subject of many articles and interviews over multiple decades, and even recognized by the Hollywood Walk of Fame, as in 1988, White accepted Ludden's posthumous star on the Walk of Fame, which to this day is next to her own. She continued loving Allen until her very last day. According to fellow actress and close friend Carol Burnett, her last word was Allen. Her agent has also mentioned in an interview with People that White always believed she would be with her husband Allen again after death. She lived on with no regrets, knowing she was lucky enough to find her true love and spend 18 years with him. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know about Betty and Allen's love story? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.